Hey, welcome back. Brian with you, neuromovement guy and functional aging specialist. Today we're going to go through a flexibility routine that can really help pay dividends in increasing or maintaining range of motion as we age. So at a minimum, we want to maintain range, and for a lot of people, we may want to build and gain some range of motion or flexibility. That allows us to access different positions and different exercises to not only make them more fun and increase movement quality, movement ability, but also improve metabolic function as well. We tend to get more out of the exercises where we can access more range of motion from a metabolic and a muscular development standpoint. So we're going to go ahead and jump into, there's only 6 movements, so it's a pretty quick routine. It's going to get after some of the major muscle groups, especially lower body with this one. The first one is a couch stretch. So each position we're going to hold for 45 seconds. The couch stretch, if you imagine that behind me, this wall, we're actually a couch. You could do this in the comfort of your own living room if you have a couch in it, which I don't, but that's beside the point. So in the couch stretch, we got this back foot elevated. We're kneeling. We're going to get a nice strong tuck in the pelvis and just stay tall with this. You can, but between tucking the pelvis, posterior tilt or tailbone tuck, and also driving this back hip back towards the foot, you can significantly increase the stretch on this quad muscle. We can also scoot the knee closer to the wall. So the closer the knee goes to the wall, the deeper the stretch. A lot of these stretches we're going to work on contracting and relaxing. So you want to own the position, make your brain very comfortable with actually tightening the muscles in the position. So in this one, I'm going to tuck the pelvis again, and then imagine that I'm dragging my back knee forward. So the kneeling side, as if I were sliding it gently across the pad, trying to scoot it forward. We do that for 10 seconds, and then relax for 10 seconds. Okay, we're at that 45-second point already. So that's the first side. Of course, we switch and go to the other side with the couch stretch. Good application of these can be when you first get up in the morning. So you're somebody that feels stiff, and these start to actually help you start to just warm up, feel better in the morning, reduces aches and pains. That's one application. And we're in that second side, tucking the pelvis, deep breath in, exhaling, relaxing into the stretch, maybe scooting the knee back, maybe tucking, driving that back knee forward for 10 seconds. So another application would be before bed in the evening, great time to do these. Another is after a training session. So for our clients, starting to do 2 of these movements per day. So say they're training 3 days a week, we do our strength training, and then we do our flexibility or mobility work at the end. In 2 of the 6 movements, you're getting through all of them in a week. And you can also just do this one right after the other. If you have 10 or 15 minutes, I think it's going to take us under 15 minutes to get through today. That's the couch stretch. Next one is the forward bend. I'm going to try to give you some regression and progression on these too. So you would maybe want a stack of pillows, something that you can reach to on the floor in front of you in a forward bend. Ideally also where we're making fists, and you can push into that to make this one active. Again, your brain and body want to feel safe with movement, and when you can contract muscles as they were meant to contract, in this case, abdominal muscles, shoulder muscles going forward into flexion, you're going to really strengthen and cement in that position in the brain, and it's going to feel safe going back to it consistently. So we don't just want to work on flexibility to feel a stretch necessarily, at least I don't. I want to own that range of motion and be able to come back to it whenever I want. So I'll start 45 seconds on the clock. Reaching forward, feet can be together, knees can be fairly straight here. In the forward bend, as we exhale and drop into it, the eyes can be down. So I actually want to look down towards my knees, maybe even towards my chin. And a lot of times that will allow greater range of motion. Let's start the contract part. So we're going to push fists into blocks, 10-second hold. Your abs should engage here. You should feel a stretch in the hamstrings. And then release for 10 seconds. So the progression here would be start to remove objects or blocks. So you can push here, move that one, you can push here, move that one. Maybe pushing into the floor, let's see, oh, yep, okay. And then if you're to that point, your fists are able to touch the floor, or contracting there for 10 seconds, relaxing for 10, you may start to elevate the feet, and then that's about where I'm at for making fists and pushing. So I can access, more range of motion when the feet start to get elevated. We'd also want to be able to make the fist push into the floor in that case if you're progressing that way. The next one is the pancake. I don't know where the pancake got its name. It always makes me want a pancake, but we're going to go into this V-sit position. Knees are straight, and then we're reaching forward for 45 seconds. So hands might be here, hands might be forward more, and eventually starting to go forward even more. On the start of these, always inhale, exhale. So we're going to exhale, relax into that position. This is another one where we're working on flexion in the torso, so eyes down is a great thing to work on. Just neurologically going to help strengthen that movement into flexion. We're then going to go ahead and push with the hands, so push down for 10 seconds. The hand pressure here into the floor, it might even be elbow pressure, so if you're able to push the elbow into the floor, we can do that. And then relax for 10. We're going to switch the contraction to a heel drive for 10. So now I'm pushing the heels down into the floor for 10. And then of course we relax for 10. After the contraction, I like to immediately see if there's a shift in range of motion. So can I exhale, relax, and drop into more range right after that tension or contraction. And then use some of that newfound range, if you have it, to create the next contraction in that new position. The next one is the front split. So split is relative. We don't have to do a split literally to be able to make this a useful flexibility exercise. So we're going to be kneeling. Like to have the pad, especially if it can be uncomfortable for you to kneel on the knees. You could even double up the pad, use a pillow or two. And the front leg here, we're going to go ahead and pull the ankle up into dorsiflexion. The knee is straight, and this might be our start position. So in the front split, inhale, exhale. As you exhale, relax into position. On the contract, relax here, we're going to push the front heel down and the back knee down into the floor, almost as if you're trying to scissor them together. That's 10 seconds. Go ahead and relax. See if you can find some new range. You can also put a chair next to you, 2 chairs if you want, a block to balance and just stabilize a little bit here. And then the other contraction with this is imagining that we could lift that front foot and lift the back knee up. So as I try to drive that back leg up, I get the glute to contract here, and I'm getting maybe more of like a quad anterior tib contraction on the front leg. 10-second hold, exhale, relax, and work to drop into more range. If you're working towards the front split, you can start to put the hands on the floor. We just want to maintain a pretty neutral pelvis and spine, so we put the hands on either side of the front leg. Second side, go ahead and set that up. And 45 seconds in that second half of the front split. So getting value from this, doing it daily would be awesome. If you had the ability to, 4 or 5, maybe 7 days a week, work on this routine and get all the way through it. If that's too much and that's overwhelming, it's better to practice some movement than no movement. So we're always trying to get people to work on whether it's strength, flexibility, balance, power, any of those qualities. You gotta work on them consistently. It does take some volume to see progress. So go ahead and push for 10 seconds, front heel down, back knee down. If it does seem overwhelming to do all of the movements though, and if it's tough to get that habit going on a daily basis, you may find do 2 a day and then rotate through them. So pick 2, do them on your first couple days of the week, the next couple days of the week, and so on. That's our front split. We're through 4. Got 2 to go. You're doing awesome. So we're going to go ahead and go into a little bit of an inversion with this one. I really like for the inner ear, our vestibular system. Those are synonymous. This is great because we start to get the head in a different position relative to gravity. We start to do a little bit of an inversion. If you're an adult, if you're over 40, over 50, and you're still doing some inversion on pull-up bars, rings, or like handstand, headstand, congratulate you, that's incredible. Keep it up, and I aspire to be like you when I grow up. So we're gonna go ahead, hold on to something here for this one, and flexibility work here of the hamstring. We're inverting, reaching the back leg up and torso forward. All right, so 45-second hold. We wanna get long through this back heel, as if you're reaching it back, 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 and driving this front heel down into the floor. So we can work on that contraction, heel drive down. Inhale, exhale. As you elevate the back leg, it's going to load the front hip and hamstring more. So we also, if you notice the back leg, if it goes up more, yes, stretching more, gaining range of motion, but also inverting more. So maybe accessing even more benefit in that inner ear vestibular system. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and other side. Take a deep breath in. You're going to exhale, reach the back leg again. So again, I'm reaching my back heel away, imagining that I can draw my heels away from one another, pushing this heel down into the floor on the stance leg. Initially, it's great to hold on to something for balance and support here. That's going to allow you to move into position safely. Your brain's going to feel more comfortable, confident, going deeper into range. Versus trying to balance is great for the sake of balance, but that's a different athletic or movement quality, right? Balance versus just the range of motion. So if you're not feeling stable and you don't hold on to something, your brain is reflexively going to stop you from going here if it doesn't feel comfortable and confident. With that, priority number 1 is always balance and stability and preventing fall. So there's a reflexive system in the inner ear, muscle tension that's going to create rigidity and basically stop movement that your brain doesn't feel safe with yet on a balance standpoint. So that's the single leg RDL, basically a little bit of inversion, moving towards an inversion. The last one here is a side split. So we're going 45 seconds. Your side split may start here, and that's great. You can work from that position. And if you can go wider, awesome. I like to, having a wall or a chair in front of you, you're going to use a block in this case. We're going 45 seconds. But if I were to turn around and use the wall for support, you can put hands on the wall. And just gives you, again, that feeling of safety, being able to push yourself up out of the position if your feet slid a little bit or you started to work your way too deep into it. So inhale, exhale. We have 2 types of contraction here as well, so we can push the feet out away from each other. They may slide a little bit. If you're on a sticky surface, rubberized surface, maybe they won't. But pushing them away, it's going to work the outside of the hip, glutes, and then relax. Sometimes you'll find, again, access to new range. And then the other contraction is pushing in. So I'm imagining that I'm going to scissor or slide the mats together, try to fold them up on themselves. And 10-second hold, and then relax. And again, sometimes we find more range. For me at least, it's in that relaxation, immediately following the isometric contraction. Guys, that's our flexibility routine. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you practice it consistently. And we are going to do an advanced level, another video where we do some advanced work on a couple inversions that can really help reinforce the position for the side split and the front split. They do require either headstand ability, so 3-point headstand, or a handstand. I'm not there yet, but working on it. We can get into the front split and the side split in an inverted position, really help, again, reinforce the range of motion that we gained working on the floor, head up first. So you can look out for that if you're an athlete or you're into you're looking for a more advanced progression on these. Until then, keep moving and keep making these your healthiest years yet.